Yeah, all the language you're using is pretty loaded.
Well, you keep using adjectives to describe things to diminish one thing while exacerbate or exaggerate something else.
I do use the English language to express my thoughts and opinions. Yeah.
What's going on, you guys? Today we have Sam Seder slamming Tim Pool. Tim Pool got turned into the village idiot on his own show, and now everyone's just piling on. I'm giving my commentary. Let's watch.
Abraham Lincoln being a dictator, I think, because he suspended habeas corpus in I think it was a state, at least a state, maybe two states.
Maryland.
Because they were afraid of supply lines, I think, being bombed at that time. And like there was a real emergency. Now, I don't know. It
wasn't students writing about how their university should divest from Israel? It's can we get freight from New York State to Washington, D.C. versus...
You guys are just living in 3 dimensions, you don't understand.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the academics that said we're in 7th dimensional warfare.
But here is Adam Conover from Adam Ruins Everything on Tim Pool in the Tim Pool IRL or Culture War podcast, I guess it is.
Yeah, this is talking about Rumesa Ostuk.
I think that's a new idea.
Oh, here we go.
My apologies.
And they're talking about that, again, the woman from Turkey who's on a student visa in this country and had written in between her studies at Tufts University, written an op-ed in the student newspaper.
Co-written one.
Oh, co-written. Well, there you go.
For a lot of people that America is that type of country. I think that Donald Trump's purpose is to turn America into that type of country. I think that that's bad. I think it makes the country smaller. I think it makes the country worse. I think it's a violation of most of the values that I grew up with as an American. And that's my view of what's happening in the country. Now, if you want to say, hey, I don't like free speech for foreign nationals who are in the country who express mild opinions about other countries' foreign wars, then that's your prerogative. It's a big difference between us that you don't like free speech in that way.
Can you pause it? I'm sorry. I just have to give him his credit there for taking Tim's 2 planks of both I'm a free speech absolutist and warrior and I'm against the foreign wars and wrapping it into such a succinct
Pool a hypocrite? No way. There's no possible way that Tim Pool could be a hypocrite. There's no way that beanie is starting to cut off circulation to his head. I believe that right now he is just saying whatever he has to say to make sure that people don't look at Trump and see a complete liar. He is having to die on this hill that really is isolating him from everyone else right now.
A criticism of his hypocrisy. If Tim's audience, was a little bit more able to engage in critical thought, they would pick up on that. But credit to Adam.
I'm sure. I mean, to be fair, I am sure there are a few members of Tim's audience.
You're right.
Who are discerning enough to realize, Tim has these bedrock principles. I mean, his whole thing, right, is about being principled. Are you a consequentialist or are you a utilitarian? And so, he's got these principles, almost like these religious edicts that he is read in philosophy and decided to adopt. And so they always hold true, except for in a couple of circumstances. Like countries that invite me to
meet with their prime minister. Netanyahu and Tim Pool met recently.
Or maybe, Mr. Gregorian, who's paying me. Who knows? But yes, those principles have a little bit of wiggle room, apparently.
Also, if this prime minister's son is a big fan of your show, as what's his name?
Yair Netanyahu, who's spent this entire time. He's I'll say a military-aged male. Spent the entire last few years in Miami watching Tim Pool, I think, from a high rise.
Oh, sweet.
Country who express mild opinions about other countries' foreign wars, then that's your prerogative. It's a big difference between us that you don't like free speech in that way.
I mean, that's loaded language, right?
Yeah, all the language you're using is pretty loaded.
Well, you keep using adjectives to describe things to diminish one thing while exacerbate or exaggerate.
You know what? I was going to say something about this. I noticed Adam uses adjectives.
Whoa.
And I will also say, I feel like I picked up on a couple of adverbs as well. I mean, this is the game that a lot of the sneaky people play.
It started with pronouns.
They go in.
Right, and Tim Pool at this point, again, he's using any type of argument to worm his way out of the original discussion. Right now he's saying that Adam is using the English language to get his point across. That's what he's wanting to say using all of this jargon, this podcaster jargon, I guess you could say. And it just isn't making sense. Tim Pool, the original argument is America a country of free speech or not?
Using the full complement of English words in their sentence formulation, which is, I mean, we know that game. Can you imagine just like responding to someone going like, oh, you're using a lot of adjectives there.
Also, the bad pull on exacerbate.
Oh, so what do you mean by free speech?
Yeah.
Yeah, stop using these adjectives. Like,
That's right. You cheat
why don't
with
you
that.
just say speech?
It would
instead of free
be
speech?
really helpful if you were less descriptive to make my point sound better.
This is going to be very hard for me to wiggle away if you're going to be this specific.
Just
So,
say foreign national. You know they put foreign in there.
yeah,
for
exactly.
adjective.
Just say national.
Language, right?
Yeah, all the language you're using is pretty loaded.
Well, you keep using adjectives to describe things to diminish one thing while exacerbate or exaggerate something else.
I do use the English language to express my thoughts and opinions. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's straw manning. It's not a legitimate.
Pause it. Whoa. What is this? Straw manning. Shouldn't it just be manning?
Yeah, I don't see a straw man in there.
Why is he using the word straw? That seems to be a little bit loaded. I believe. Is that not an adjective? Like the kind of manning he's doing?
But he's gonna.
Or is that an adverb?
He's gonna explain it.
Okay.
But it's straw manning. It's not a legitimate attack of the ideas, right? So accosted on the street. Come on. She was arrested. Okay. She was arrested by a relatively large group of men compared to what a normal arrest would require, which I think they didn't need to do and was silly. So we can say she was arrested by several men, unmarked or plain clothes, which didn't need to happen. But I don't need to say like she was accosted by men on the street and like it was about a mild opinion. It's like, okay, listen.
So I'm sorry. If she were arrested by a singular woman, taken into custody for her speech, for protesting a genocide or speaking or writing about it in the paper, that wouldn't change my analysis of the violation of her rights whatsoever. What is he trying to do with the counting of the men that took her?
And I actually saw this on the video. The word accosted is actually less inflated than the word arrested. To say that you were accosted on the street is to sort of tone it down more than saying that I was arrested on the street. So the point that Tim Pool is wanting to make right here, he's actually affirming Adam's opinion. He's affirming the fact that Adam is not using any deceptive language whatsoever.
He's reacted to like if you can say she wasn't accosted, the problem isn't how she was picked up by the goon squad that didn't identify themselves, Tim, whether it was like with great manners or roughly. It's that it happened at all. And it's notable that he has, okay, you can quibble with accosted or whatever. He also quibbles with mild opinion. And you read that article and it is absolutely mild. It is actually saying not what I believe, it's that the school should listen to the students who voted to divest.
Here's the thing that also is complicated to me. Isn't accosted a verb?
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
You know, when you get out there and you start deploying verbs,
Cheating.
come on,
Those woke verbs.
and you, she was accosted.
Not even
Put on like some type of accent.
But there we have it, you guys. We have Tim Pool, attempting to double speak his way into losing his free speech eventually. I mean, if the thing is that if he's fighting for it to be taken away from, these foreigners that are coming into this country, then you know where that goes. You know exactly where that heads. Eventually, they're going to start, making sure that Americans born and raised over here can't speak about certain issues, such as well, yeah. I mean, you already know. I can't even talk about the what's going on in the Middle East. So, I mean, that's all I've really got to say about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.